Thank you for joining us on African Free Press Television. I am Chika Anyanwu with the news updates. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Power, Mr. Godnose Igali, has said the federal government has so far spent a total of 2.7 trillion naira on the power sector from 1999 to date, explaining that of this sum, 1.66 trillion naira was appropriated for the ministry and its agencies, out of which 948 billion naira was released during the period under review. Igali said this in his presentation on identified unwholesome practices at an investigative hearing on the power sector, which began in the Senate on Tuesday. The hearing continues today with presentation expected from generation and distribution companies as well as other stakeholders. The police have arrested 22 members of the movement for the actualization of the sovereign states of Biafra and those of the indigenous people of Biafra in some parts of the country. The police said 4 suspects were arrested in Anambra, 6 in Imo, 11 in Delta, and 1 in Abia State. A statement from the first public relations officer, Olabisi Kolawole, on Tuesday in Abuja said the arrests were on the order of Inspector General of Police Solomon Araze, issued a clampdown on person or group of persons inciting violence and other disorder across the country. The police said the persons so far arrested for inciting violence, irrespective of their class or status in the society, would be charged to court. Nigeria's under-23 team will battle rival Ghana in their opening games of the men's football event of the 2015 All-African Games in Congo today. Same day, African champion Super Falcons play Tanzania in their second group game. Meanwhile, former Nigerian sports minister and former president Nigeria Olympic Committee, Engineer Sani Ndanusa, has been elected into the sports committee of the Commonwealth Game Federation. Danusa, who is also the chairman of the Nigerian Tennis Federation boss, defeated William Blix, president of Ugandan Commonwealth Game Association, by 8-4 votes at the Commonwealth Game Federation annual game meeting held in Auckland, New Zealand. Ahead of Kogi State governorship elections slated for November 21st, a prominent chieftain of People Democratic Party (PDP), Chief Jeremiah Abu, was last night assassinated in Ejule in Ofu local government area of the state. Chief Abu is believed to have been trailed to his residence of Ejule at about 7 p.m. where the assailants descended on him and shot him severally in the abdomen. According to a witness, the PDP chieftain bled to death before help could reach him. Spokesman for a party in Burundi opposed to President Pierre Nkurunziza's third term has been shot dead in the state capital, Bujumbura. Patrice Guhungu from the Union of Peace and Development was murdered by unidentified gunmen as he drove home late on Monday. Leader of the same opposition party, Zedi Feruzi, was killed in May. President Nkurunziza was sworn in for a controversial third term last month following several months of unrest. The UPD was part of a coalition of opposition parties that was opposed to Mr. Nkurunziza running for a third term. It boycotted the parliamentary elections and did not put forward a candidate for the presidential poll, which Mr. Nkurunziza won with 70% of the votes. Political tension there have forced tens of thousands of people to flee the country this year as government accused the opposition, which says the third term is illegal, of causing the violence. At least 100 people have died in protest since Mr. Nkurunziza announced his decision in April to seek another term in office in election that took place in July. 3 men have been arrested at a shopping center in Kenya's capital with a suspected explosive device, which has since been detonated in a controlled explosion. The Garden City Mall, one of the biggest shopping centers in the city, has also been evacuated. One of the men refused to be searched by security guards and was overpowered in a scuffle, revealing the explosive device. Police spokesman George Kinoti told reporters that the 3 men in custody were all Kenyans and the explosives were discovered in one of their bags. European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker is due to announce plans to tackle Europe's worst migrant crisis since World War II. Under the proposal, 120,000 asylum seekers will be distributed among EU member countries with binding quotas. This comes after thousands of mainly Syrian migrants began trekking northwards through Europe last weekend. Hungary has been warned to expect an additional 40,000 migrants by the end of next weekend. Vincent Kochetel, a regional coordinator for the UN Refugee Agency, also urged the Hungarian authorities to improve registration and reception procedures. Hungary has become a key point on the journey north for the migrants, with more than 150,000 people arriving this year. The authorities there are now reinforcing a border fence designed to keep migrants from entering from Serbia and are toughening asylum laws. A Guatemalan judge has ordered the former president, Otto Perez Molina, to stand trial on corruption charges. Prosecutors accuse Mr. Perez of masterminding a scheme where business bribed officials to clear their imports through customs at a low tax rate, a scandal that led to months of street protests across the country. The judge said there was sufficient evidence for Mr. Perez Molina to face charges of customs fraud, racketeering, and bribery. The UN Commission helped gather criminal evidence for the case, which they say is based on around 89,000 wiretapped phone calls. The former president has denied any wrongdoing and has promised to cooperate with the investigation. And that's the news update on African Free Press Television. For more, you can visit www.africanfreepress.com, follow at African Free Press on Twitter, and like African Free Press on Facebook.